kids how to make smart decisions about sex. And we're not empowering parents enough to teach their kids how to have a healthy and positive conversation with their children. So they think that when they go on these field trips, that they don't have to really consider the decision aspect.
Well, I think abstinence only with a 13 and 14-year-old is the way to go. You go on a field trip, don't do it.
No one is suggesting that 13 and 14-year-olds should be having sex, but the fact of the matter is, if they are, we're not teaching them the right way. We're not teaching them what it means to make a responsible decision, who should be having sex, the kind of relationships we should be involved in. I'm really concerned not just that they're having sex, but are they being protected? Is this the first time? Have they spoken to their parents about these issues before? Because now their sex life has become public in a really big way.
No, you're right, and it does start with the parents. You have to have those conversations. You have to have them a lot sooner than 13 and 14. We know that. It should start at, what, 8 or 9 years old, right?
Well, actually, it should start at birth. And I know that...
Wait.
Yes.
No. A 2-year-old... None of this stuff where 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds need sex books. Come on.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, we're not just talking about sex. We're talking about sexuality. How to have a healthy body image, what, the different kinds of touch, different kinds of families and relationships. And then eventually, it's much easier to get to things like sexual development, sex behaviors, and the more explicit things.
Well, let's let kids be kids, at least for a little while. Hey, we want to take the phone calls. Let's start with Ben in Tennessee. And I think I agree with you, Ben. You say, like, the first point is the chaperones. Where were they, huh?
That's exactly my point. I think it's the chaperones and the parents. Apparently the parents aren't teaching the kids anything, or they're looking to their parents for an example. I just think the chaperones are to blame. Kids are going to be kids.
That's a good point. I think we need to do everything we can to lessen the temptation. Regardless of what mom and dad taught, we don't want to let these opportunities present themselves. Here's what one mom said, Logan. She's a mom of a 14-year-old who ended up having sex. 14-year-old girl said, I signed a consent form to take care of my child while they were away on this trip. Why wasn't the chaperone doing the one-on-one visits? Regardless, after the fact, when we get to a field trip like this, we got to lock them down practically this day and age, don't we?
Well, here's the problem. People have been going on field trips forever, and kids have been sneaking out of their rooms. So that's not the shock. The shock is that 13 and 14-year-olds are making the decision not just to sneak out, but to have sex. So, yes, the school should make sure that their chaperones are doing their job, but also this falls on parents. Parents need to be better educators at home. We can't always rely on our schools to take care of this stuff for us.
Okay, let's pick up on the parent angle. I agree with you on that front. The parents have to do their job. Warren in Georgia, you agree, right? The parents have to have these conversations.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is strictly a parent and child dynamic. The chaperones are only there to protect the children from outside forces. There's nothing can be done by these chaperones as far as what these children are doing. They are visiting X-rated porn and on the videos, the games that they play, and the parents are not monitoring them and taking care of them and keeping them straight.
Agree with you on that front, that parents need to do a better job at home. But when we get to a field trip setting, there should have been a chaperone in every room, and they dropped the ball there. Because let's face it, 13 and 14-year-old kids are waiting for the opportunity on that front. Hey, Logan, I want to ask you a question. All right, I'm a parent. I don't want my kids having sex. What am I telling them to make sure that doesn't happen? Now, that's a lot of people out there don't want to say it, but when you talk about your own kid, that's where a lot of people are coming from.
Well, the first thing you're doing is being honest about the role that sex and sexuality plays. You're telling them that sex is a wonderful part of a mature, adult, responsible relationship, but you're giving them the tools to make good decisions, to evaluate the decision, so that they know that, you know what, it does come with big responsibilities. It can be wonderful, but it's not for 13 and 14-year-olds because you might not be responsible at this point and mature enough to handle the outcomes, whether they're positive or negative outcomes.
And I want to, we do have a quote from a 14-year-old girl on that trip who did have sex. Here's what she said, just hitting on that point right there. Said, I don't feel too well that it happened, and I wish it wouldn't have happened. That's it. When you're 13 and 14 years old, I think there's a lot of regret out there from these kids, especially, I think, the young girls. You agree with that?
Well, oftentimes I think that because we're so hypersexualized, we expect that sex is something that we want to take part in, and we're sent so many mixed messages, it's hard to decipher them often. We want our kids to grow up and be sexually healthy adults, ones that are capable of making good decisions and not making any mistakes at this stage that they can't recover from.
You're right about what's coming at our kids, whether it's magazines, television, music, videos. It's sex, 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 and then we try and say as parents, we fight against that, go, no, no, no. So it's a tough battle. Logan Lefkoff, we appreciate your time, and thanks for joining on the calls.
Sure.
Okay, see you soon. And thank you for calling in. Always